I've always said about crypto that the next best possible money could be created at like any day. It keeps happening. Like we just keep creating. Like, okay, Bitcoin was the best for a while. It was like the only decentralized money. Wow, get in. But also everybody's calling it a scam ever since the beginning. Still are.
Mom still calls it a scam.
Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, they call it rat poison squared, literally. And they're billionaires. So you're like, okay, well, they know that their voice has lots of weight. Why would they say that? I'd actually really be curious if, like, imagine if they got to talk with Richard. I feel like Richard would just like really lay in the knowledge into them, and maybe he could, or at least we could learn something from their side that I haven't discovered yet. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Like, oh, maybe crypto is rat poison squared. But these guys, I don't know. They don't do 8-hour live streams with their community and share information like Richard does, and show you charts and how this stuff's been working out. They have Charlie Munger and them. They weren't mining Bitcoin in first quarter 2011, knowing how blockchain works and what actually works and what doesn't. So like, I really trust Richard's opinions on things versus these old money guys who are using the fiat system and just they've just been around a long time. And so they've been long for a long time in the stock market and stuff. And so that's why they're super successful, but they're also very, very, very old now. So like they've had like 40 more years than Richard has to amass wealth. But look how well Richard's doing at his age, right?
Oh yeah.
It's because he's in the stuff that appreciates higher than and faster than anything else in the world. And so we all have that opportunity to ourselves as well. And I've shared this in person, I think, with some people, but I don't think I've said it on stream. But like, there's a possibility for people that are like younger than Richard. It's actually possible to be richer than he was at those moments in their life. You know, like when he was 28 or 27 or 30, we might actually get more gains than he was able to get from Bitcoin and his early investments and stuff because of the great cryptocurrency that he's invented. So you can actually be richer than he was at those points in time. Now, it's unlikely you'll ever catch Richard in how rich you are, but you might be able to beat him back at certain points of age that he was in his journey, you know, and growing. So I think that's pretty powerful to think about, that you could actually be richer than Richard was at certain ages in his life, you know, because of how many returns on your investment you might be able to get in these cryptos, because they're just built even better than Bitcoin, you know.
Sure. And our knowledge is deeper. And you're right. Like whatever he was at 25, 30, if we're at that at 25, 30, then theoretically we're going to be on a trajectory that wherever he's at now, we would be higher than that.
Yep.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
I think just like how Richard, I believe, he's like, I think he's richer than Warren Buffett was at this age. I think Warren Buffett didn't like become a billionaire until he was like, he was like older. Let me see.
I don't even know that one.
How old was Warren Buffett?
Keys to clacking.
He became a millionaire at the age of 30. So Richard's been beating him the whole time. Richard was a multimillionaire at 25. Come on. It's like, okay, Warren these old Buffett? Money guys, they're doing well and stuff, but they're playing that really long, slow game that worked for them. We've got just this better technology option. You know, that's how I see it.
Sure.
And we're just able to outpace.
Well, of course, they're going to downplay crypto because their life is in the legacy market. So they don't want money leaving the legacy market. They want money to stay there because that's how they make more money. They're in stocks and gold and all these other things. They're not. You think Warren Buffett has 100,000 Bitcoin? Probably not.
Yeah.
Especially if he's calling it rat poison. That'd be an ultimate FUD on his own bag. Jeez.
Maybe he's trying to buy it lower, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's like, dang, this entry point's a little too high for me.
Yeah, he's like, crash the markets. Boom. Deploy rat poison squared. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if those bigger guys get into like, what if they care about social media influence or anything like that? Because like, obviously attention and data are also huge gold mines nowadays as well.
Sure.
And I don't know if, I mean, I guess I know who they are, so they're doing something right.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's outrage marketing, right? They're like,
Sure.
rat poison. You're like, "Oh, what are they guys talking about?"
I know, but that eventually comes back to bite them in the butt because everybody who's gotten into crypto, other than like the last year, is basically up massive. And so for the majority of crypto's lifespan, if you've been in the right stuff, you are crushing it. So I don't know where they eventually get the payoff because everyone's going to know, hey, didn't you say rat poison squared? But it's actually awesome. So what was that about? And they're like, oh, that was just to get attention. Like, does that give you a pass? Like Richard at least tells you, like, hey, this stuff goes down 85%, but then it pumps harder than everything else. It's like, how can you get more truthful than that?
Sure.
Like that
No.
that is what happens. And a lot of people just don't know that about crypto. They don't know that it's pumped way, way harder, that those huge dips don't matter that much. Like if you can ride out the volatility, you just how you see it, nerds. That's basically that's how the wealth growth happens in crypto. I think I'm losing my voice again. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're right. Because even like if you got into Hex early, even at its 95% dip, you were still up life-changing wealth status. So it's like it's the ebb and the flow. You can't get away from it. It's always going to dip. Even stock markets ebb and flow. Everything ebbs and flows. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
At least Richard acknowledges that and just says, "Hey, this thing doesn't go up into the right forever."
Yeah, that like the people who can actually hold through these dips, they get to sell the tips later, you know. And
Ooh, dips
the
and tips. I
really
like it.
smart people are buying at the dips to sell the tips later, you know. So it, he just really does share what really works in crypto, and what a lot of people will try and sell you in crypto is like, hey, look at these indicators, buy this course,
Mm,
join this paid group, we'll tell you when to buy, when to sell it. And it's like, it's kind of like how whenever people pay, it's even worse because it's like active trading and short time frame, like you can get wrecked that way. But it's even what happens in like traditional finance is like there's these market manager guys who will like people who don't want to mess with the stock market. Like my parents are like this. They just let like a fund manager handle their
mm,
stock portfolio. But it's been like shown time and time again that these guys, like, they don't really beat the market, but they take a percent of your gains. So if you just like did the S&P 500 and like didn't pay any guy to manage it at all, you would have like outperformed the manager. Plus, he also took a percent, so you actually are way
mm.
down. And people think like these 1% things aren't a lot, but they compound over the years like huge. And so that's why there's all this extra wiggle room for price appreciation in crypto, because there's not these middlemen taking fees every three steps of the way. You're like, oh, I get a fee because you talk to me, and I take a fee of your percent. And you're like, what the heck, dude? Like in crypto, you're just like, oh, I watched a video on how to buy and stake, and then I just stake it, and then I spread the word about it, and then the price goes up over time because crypto.
Yeah.
And like there's no middleman. It's like you kind of have that middleman of like, I pay the ETH gas fee to like stake, and you're like, huh. But it's not a percentage. It's like a very I mean, unless you're staking like $10, then it's like, oh no, if it's $5 fee, that's 50%. But if you're staking, like if it's your investment or saving portfolio, it's going to be a lot more that you're putting into crypto. And so $5 to get in is very much less friction than you have anywhere else for storing wealth,
Absolutely.
you know. Like
Absolutely.
good luck securing gold or something like that for $5. And you don't even get
Yeah.
gains. You're down over 40 years.
Right. And then you got to pay taxes on it too.
How do you lose versus inflation as gold? Like, I don't even get that. Even if it is suppressed, like, who cares? It's like you're not going to get gains in it. So at least that's what the chart shows. Unless you have some insider information that you definitely know is going to pay off, then sure, do that. But most people don't have that, and so the obvious choice is go with the best chart and best history of not having problems, right? And that's Hex.
Right. And then people for the gold argument will say, "Oh, well, when the internet fails and we enter into the apocalyptic situation, gold's going to be value." It's like, "No, cigarettes and water is going to be
And
value."
bullets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Gold? I don't what is that going to do for me?
Yeah,
It's
I mean, and
heavy.
the thing is, like, it was so funny when Peter Schiff debated Richard and immediately comes out the gate with like, it's not a good investment. It's just a hedge. Don't invest in gold. But it's like that's his whole spiel, is selling people gold. It's like, wait, what? So he thought he'd win the debate by telling people he immediately lost. It was so funny.
Outrage marketing.